Today's tutorial, MPC LIVE BPM detect, time stretching, and a little online tool that I use to calculate precise tempos after pitching samples. Let's check it out. Come on. Although you can get away with not dealing with precise tempos if you're chopping samples up, I find things go a whole lot smoother if you make sure that your loops are lined up from the beginning. So what I've kind of figured out what works for me is when I'm sampling to limit my loops to no more than 2 bars. This ends up just working out better when doing my time stretching. So I went ahead and sampled a Billie Holiday record. I got 5 loops in here. I'm going to go into the sample edit and I'm going to hit the beat detect function on that. Figure out the tempo, it's very easy, of each individual loop, and I'm going to go in and use the time stretch function and stretch them to a common tempo. Alright, getting started, I'm going to go into sample edit, and first and foremost we got to make sure we have a nice little loop. So this right here, I had started to do some trimming on it. So I've adjusted the start point. Once you trim a loop, the BPM that has been initially counted automatically, once this loop is trimmed, this is the correct one. Once this loop is trimmed, the BPM will change. So we're going to go ahead and process this and discard everything to the left of the start point marker. Okay, so now we have a loop. Let's listen to it.
Where can I be?
So that sounds pretty good. We had to go ahead and hit this detect button, and I hope that you can see this. So right now, if you can't see it, it does say 60.2 beats per minute. I'm going to go ahead and hit this detect button again down here, and it should change. Okay, so now we're at 60.84. All my other loops are ready to go. They're looped up nicely. Looking at the BPMs, everything is around 60 beats per minute. Some 61, some 59, 60.84, 60.35, 60.07. Now it doesn't sound like much of a difference, but in most cases, even just a little bit can throw off your beat. So we're gonna go into time stretch, and here we are at on the left side. I'm trying to get in so you can see it. It says original tempo 60.07, and on the right we have a place to enter a new tempo. So what I'm going to go with, since we're close to 60 on most of them, is just go for 60. So you're going to want to put in 6000. And we're going to do this for every one of these. Okay, so if I go down to detect again and press it, it should go to 60. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this for all of these. Let's start over here at the front. Okay, so you get the idea. I'm going to go ahead and do these. And okay, so scrolling through all of my sample loops, you can see now, if you look at the bottom, they're all at a nice even 60 beats per minute. So I've gone ahead and I've assigned these loops to a drum program. I put them on a mute group so I can start formulating some ideas for a beat.
I only know misery.
At this point, I like to start experimenting by adjusting the pitch of my samples.
Lonely shadow, how lonely shadow, how lonely shadow, how I only know
whenever you adjust the pitch of your loops, the tempo is also going to change. So now that I've adjusted that, I like to use this little online tool to go ahead and figure out what my new tempo would be. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so this is a little website called Music Calculator. You can find it at musiccalculator.com. So this is what we're doing right here. We're going to go ahead and click right here on the left, transpose by semitones. It's very simple. So here is your original BPM. I'm going to enter that, and we are at 60. And then right here in the next little section, you go ahead and click how many semitones that it is that you are transposing by. And as you see, it already has changed the BPM down at the bottom. So initially, being that it was at 60 beats per minute, I transposed it by 3 semitones. We're now at 71.352. So I'm going to go ahead back to the MPC, change the tempo of my sequence, and then go ahead and program one of these loops in and see how well it fits. My original BPM for these loops were 60 beats per minute. So we're going to go ahead and change this to 71.35. Go ahead and do it. Alright. Now all we have to do is kind of program this in. Just pick one of the loops.
Lonely shadow hounding me. It's a lonely shadow hounding me. It's a lonely shadow.
So that sounds pretty on point. Once again, thank you all for joining me. My name is Ro, and this has been Lifted Noise. If you're interested in more tutorials for the MPC Live, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you need samples, check out my Self-Fi store at sellfy.com/lifted-noise.